Guys, so today we're talking about the Cold Steel Broken Skull folder. All right, this is a collaboration with Steve Austin, a very famous wrestler in America. There's a little picture here on the box. I had the pleasure of meeting Steve Austin at a SHOT Show one year that I went. Had a brief conversation with him. I think we're at the CRKT booth talking knives. I was literally standing there looking in the case, seeing what the new stuff was for the year, and he just walked up. I looked to the left, saw him, looked down, kind of looked back up, did a double take. And I'm like, you're Steve Austin, which I'm sure a lot of people do when they just randomly see him. Hey, aren't you Steve Austin? Yes, I am. So if I could find the picture, I think I took a picture with him. I'll insert it now. But anyway, yeah, Steve Austin is not only a very famous wrestler, but he is also a avid outdoorsman and a knife collector. Not only a knife collector, but a knife user. There's actually a bunch of celebrities that love knives. Anthony Hopkins is a knife collector. Angelina Jolie, famously known to have flipped a balisong on, I think, the Conan O'Brien show. But yeah, there's a ton of celebrities that like knives too, and Steve Austin is among them. Very cool dude. But yeah, here's his collaboration with Cold Steel. So we don't need the box anymore, just a simple little box. You can actually pause here if you want to see what they have to say about the warranty. And maybe in the future I'll do more warranty videos anonymously to make everyone happy with some other brands like Cold Steel. But anyway, so let's talk about this knife here. This one happens to be in gray, although there are 5 other colors. So this is one of 6 different color options. They all have the black blade, I believe, which is a DLC coating. Holds up very nicely, has kind of a glossy finish to it, but does not wear very easily at all. But yeah, even though this kind of looks white, depending on the lighting, sometimes it looks like white and black, but it is a very, very light gray color, okay? So some quick specs on here. 4 inches honor blade. It is a CTS XHP steel. I've talked about the steel before. I do like it a lot. You can see it on the back here, the marking. And yes, it is also made in Taiwan. At least the knife is made in Taiwan. I believe the steel is US made. It's a powdered steel, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, great performance on here. As far as the handle, 5 1/4 inches. It is G10. There's no liners or anything. This does have the triad lock on it, all right, which Cold Steel has really adopted in a lot of different knives. It is a wonderful lockback style. The only negative to it is you have to have a little bit more pressure in pushing that lockback, that lock bar that pivots. A lot of people get used to very light little lockbacks, This one you have to push it in more to actually get it to close, all right? And this model, it's really not that bad. Some of the larger knives from Cold Steel, you have to really dig down, and some people don't like that. I've heard that specifically is like, yeah, it's a great knife and everything, but it's too hard to unlock. All right, you do just need a little bit of little thumb power there, okay? But this one not nearly as bad as some of the other ones out there, but it is an amazing, amazing lock. All right, I'm sure you can see all kinds of videos on the triad lock specifically. But the overall length here is 9 1/4 inches, and this one is super lightweight, coming in at just over 3 ounces. I think it's 3.1 ounces. You can see it's super thin G10 scales. All right, and on the inside, it's basically just, and I'll show you the back here, you can see the 2 body screws that hold this together, but it's just a little stainless steel spacer on the back here. So it's not an open design at all, it is closed. But besides the spacer, you just have that, again, that lock bar, the blade and the scales. All right, so that's what attributes to its very lightweight. It does have ambidextrous thumb studs on here for opening, so you can open it easily right-handed or left-handed. It is very smooth in opening. So taking a really close look at these G10 scales, it's a very fine, texture pattern, but it is super aggressive, all right? I mean, this thing feels like sandpaper. In carrying it and using it and just, handling it, I feel like it's kind of knocked off some of the edges. So it's not quite as aggressive as it used to be. Right now, it kind of feels very similar to a lot of Emerson scales, but when I first got it, it was literally like the stickiest, most sandpaper feeling knife I've ever had. It was extremely aggressive. Now, even though it's kind of worn down with use a little bit, I still have a little bit of an issue with the pocket clip. It's a very tight pocket clip, but of course, on this material here, it just really grabs the pants. There's no way around it. Mostly carried this with denim jeans, and you gotta tug on it a little bit. Okay, it's not gonna slip in and out of your pocket very easily. If you're used to a different knife that does that, maybe you have like a, I don't know, tie or stainless frame lock or something. It's super smooth, and you're just like, clip it in, pull it out. That's not this knife. But again, most cold steel knives do grab onto the pocket quite a bit. The positive is, hey, you'll never lose this knife. The negative is it'll probably wear your pants out a little bit. Okay, with continuous use. So just keep that in mind when this is clipped in the pocket. You're going to be pulling your pants material. Okay, so hopefully you're wearing a belt and it's not that big of a deal to pull it out. But it does carry very nicely. You got about that much poking up. You can see there's no lanyard hole on this. Okay, but as you also may have noticed, the pocket clip is swappable to left side carry. Okay, this is only situated tip up. Of course, like most knives, you're going to get it standard tip up right side carry. Now, for the really smart people out there, you might look at this knife and say, okay, well, if you reverse this pocket clip, it's going to be curved the wrong way. Well, as reference, it does come with a second pocket clip in case you wanted to swap it to left side carry. So it's appropriately shaped. All right, because someone will ask, they'll say, wait a minute, if I put that one over here, it's going to be like that. So yeah, it does come with a spare pocket clip. So taking another look at the blade here, okay, it might be a little deceiving. It looks like it's a full flat ground blade, but it is not. It's actually hollow ground. Love the clip point. The thickness on the blade here is 0.14 inches thick, so just a little bit on the thinner side. And again, it comes to a very shallow edge, so it's nice and sharp. All right, it does stay sharp. I do like the steel. This thing is very impressive as far as the actual performance of it. I don't know exactly how many of each color's made. They do, Cold Steel claims it's limited. I've also seen that being said in advertisements on dealer sites that it's a limited, knife model. I don't have an exact number. If you guys know for sure, you can, certainly post it down in the comments, but because they have 6 different colors, there'll obviously be X amount of each one. And I don't know exactly how limited it really is. Does that mean there's 500 of each color? Is there 5,000 of each color? Who knows? But if this is something you are interested in, and you have a specific color in mind, you probably are better off grabbing it as soon as possible, because as time goes on, they're just going to start dwindling out and they're not going to be for sale anymore. And then you're going to be stuck, doing the eBay search or looking on the forums for people who already have them. All right, so if it's something you're interested in, I'd grab it as soon as possible. Overall, it's a great knife. It's a very good performing knife. The only negative to me really is just how much that grips the pocket. I'm just used to carrying so many different knives, and very few really just hold on to that pocket with dear life. It becomes kind of a hassle. Some people don't care. I'm kind of getting over it now, after using it as much as I have. I'm just used to it. Like any knife, once you carry it long enough, you just get used to its little downsides here and there. But it is a workhorse, okay? Very lightweight, but still a ton of performance. Now, if you notice on the back here, there's some jimping. And although it's aggressive jimping from an angle here, where the knife's open and your thumb's here, you don't really feel it that much. You know what I mean? It looks way more aggressive than it is because you have that lock bar in the middle. It just kind of grabs the corner of your thumbs. Or if you really push down hard, each side will rub up against that. So with harder use, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more effective, but just general use, it's not like really grabbing your thumb or anything. But yeah, overall, I really like the knife. I think it's a cool looking knife. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of clip points. If you watch my videos for a long time, you know that. It's an extremely usable knife. Oftentimes, it's hard to find a 4-inch blade at about a 3-ounce, package. Some people are very dead set on having super light, gear. If you carry a bunch of stuff, obviously you want it to be as light as possible. But if you are law enforcement or military or something, or if you, I don't know, you're a contractor, and you have a bunch of stuff on your belt already, you're carrying around a tape measure and a hammer and this, that, and the other thing, you want maybe a lighter knife. So that's where this really excels, as someone who wants a little bit more capability, but in a lighter package. My biggest suggestion, though, is that if you can or are willing to modify your knives, this will be 100 times better if you take the pocket clip off and just hit this with a little sandpaper. Okay, I don't think it'll take much, but you really want to sand at least this 1/2 inch, or an inch, right underneath where it makes contact with the scale. If you were to do that, smooth that out, it'd be no problem. It wouldn't be an issue getting it out of the pocket, and then you have a great user, super lightweight and super, super sharp. So I'm a fan of them. And again, if you have a collector in you, it'd be really cool to have one of each if you can afford to do that collection. They look great in a display or something, all open next to each other. And I do think that this is one of those knives that in the future people will be looking for them, and maybe specific colors or something like that. I was talking to someone recently about color matching their EDC stuff, and that's always cool, if you can get kind of a theme going. But yeah, I mean, anything like that, you know, especially a lot of the spider codes that are out there, when they do a certain set where there's individual colors, people want to collect all the colors, you know, or they want a specific color for their collection, and just makes it a little bit more collectible, you know, so to speak. Now, some of the Cold Steel Triad Lock folders tend to be a little bit stiffer than others. This one you can flick open. That's something that matters to you. You can also close this one-handed. Just choke up a little bit, depress the lock, and then take that off of, you know, off kilter, I guess, a little bit. And then you can switch your grip and bring it in. Talked about that before, but for all the people out there that are interested in carrying a knife that you can, you know, use one-handed, you don't have to use lockbacks with two hands. Although it's faster and safer just to use two hands like that. It's not always necessary. You could kind of do a little bit of a spider drop, but you need a lot of force to get this. Most times you gotta throw it and it's gonna half open. If you give this a huge flick, you can get it to pop open, use it like that as well. But anyway, let's talk about price. This actually kind of ranges a little bit. I saw this as high as like $90 on some dealer sites, but I've seen it as low as like 60-something on Amazon. It's gonna range, so let's just call it like a $75 knife. For that price, I still think it's very much worth it. It is a very good performing blade, extremely strong lock, extremely sharp. I mean, there's not much else to ask for. It's also lightweight. So it's gonna come down to, you know, design preference, and if you're one of those people that just like a super smooth knife, clearly not for you. This one is aggressive, but that's obviously beneficial if you're doing something, especially outdoors. Steve Austin is an outdoorsman, you know, so he's doing a lot of hunting. He's gutting deer and all kinds of stuff like that. So with blood and guts and mud and rain and being wet, obviously having grip would be a concern. So I'm sure that had something to do with the design on these scales, that texturing. All right, so you know, it is aggressive. If you're just carrying it in your pocket every day and, you know, you're not using it in the rain ever or anything like that, maybe that's a downside to you, but for a lot of people, it's probably gonna be a positive, having that handle be a little extra grippy. But yeah, I think it's worth it. I think it's a very cool knife, and I like it. So I want you guys to give me your opinions down below if you have a broken skull. First off, let me know what color you have. Just curious, see which ones people are buying. I like the gray the most. I like color sometimes, but when I first saw this, I actually thought it was white. And I thought it was really cool, the white and black combo. But yeah, it turned out to be, you know, really light gray. But yeah, let me know what color you have, and more importantly, let me know what you think of yours. You know, if you carried it, what you use it for, and your opinions on it. You know, it's good to have a lot of people's opinions, so read the comments as well. Don't just take my word for it. You get a collective idea on something before you go out and spend your hard-earned money on it. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.